The first domino has fallen, and Illinois loses a guard to the transfer portal. My name is Sonny Verma, your host here at Talk Illini, brought to you by Orange and Blue News and the On3 Network. Illini fans have been waiting patiently. The transfer portal opened at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday, and as of Saturday morning, we had zero news on the Illini front. We didn't know who was leaving. Didn't know who was coming in. We've been hearing rumors, and we've been addressing those rumors here on Talk Illini, but we haven't really had anything of substance until Saturday, right around noon, when news dropped that Mihailo Petrovic, the guard from Europe, is going to be entering the transfer portal. When we talk about Mihailo Petrovic, we talk about a kid who came in out of the blue. If you recall, while we were in hot pursuit of Andrei Stojakovic and his recruitment, out of nowhere, Illinois announced a recruitment or a commitment from Mihailo Petrovic, who at the time it made sense. Illinois needed a steady hand at point guard. They needed a playmaker, as someone who could organize the offense. And Petrovic, from the tape that we were all watching, looked like he fit that mold perfectly. He looked to have vision, pace, some creativity to his game. And the thought was that he could be a vital piece, or at least a key rotational piece, to unlock this offense. But if we're being fully honest, it never really fully came together. Not my argument is because the talent wasn't there, but quite honestly, the fit simply wasn't, and it didn't quite work. You take a look at his numbers: 1.6 points per game, a little over assists per game. Obviously, he played very limited moments, and certainly nothing that you're looking at jumps off the page. But I don't think it was the full story of the Mihailo Petrovic era at Illinois. His season was inconsistent. It was certainly interrupted, and quite honestly, he never got fully settled in. And I think that's important, right? Because he dealt with injury issues as soon as he landed last summer. He was not able to play with the team, get acclimated, which kind of forced Keaton Wagler to play the starting role with Kylan Boswell during the preseason. And ultimately it turned out for the better. Obviously, that's when we started getting whispers from Kylan, from the coaching staff, that, hey, this Keaton kid, he's actually really good. And so ultimately it worked out. But again, unfortunately for Mihailo, when early in the season, when you have hamstring issues and you're a point guard, of course, that's going to be a major issue, because everything you do is all about timing, is about rhythm, it's about the confidence. And if you don't have any of those, it's going to be hard to find your footing. When you think of Mihailo, there were flashes, if we're going to be honest. And maybe that's what kind of makes this whole experiment frustrating, because you saw moments where like, oh, okay, there could be something there. I talk about the UT RGV game where he had 12 points and 4 assists. He looked like a player that could have real impact, at least coming off the bench. And I think that was kind of the player that maybe Illinois at the time was hoping for, that they were going to be able to get. But unfortunately, that's just not how it worked out. And why didn't it work? Again, it comes down to a couple things with Mihailo. Number one, first and foremost, has to be defense. Illinois needs more two-way guards, especially if you're not a big guy, which Mihailo is not. 6'3", 180 pounds, pure offense is just not something this team needed. If anything, this team needed more help on the defensive side. We need more two-way guys. And anytime Mihailo was on the court, the questions were certainly there. Secondly, the style that Petrovic plays. Again, when you watch his tape in the Adriatic League, it looks dynamic. He's a kid who can play in the pick and roll, a little more field-based, creative. But Illinois doesn't need that. Illinois wants someone who's very cautious, who's he's not going to commit any turnovers, who can maybe impose a little physicality, show a little toughness, and certainly rebound, especially Brad Underwood. Brad Underwood loves that. And those are traits that unfortunately Petrovic never really brought forth, especially when you had guys like Kylan Boswell, Keaton Wagler, so great at those traits. And you kind of saw the writing on the wall when Kylan Boswell went down for injury. And at the time, we were already only playing 2 guards. So you're like, hey, if Brad Underwood's going to give Mihailo Petrovic a shot, now is the time. We're kind of in dire need. And Mihailo barely played. And at that point, the writing was kind of on the wall. You could see that stylistically, this was just his style of play is not going to fit with this Illinois brand of offense. And it was the number one brand of offense in the entire country and in the history of KenPom. So who are we to argue? But again, I want to be fair to him because this wasn't an easy situation. Think about all the things that Petro had to adjust to, being in a new country, being in a new system, that college basketball speed, and just a different physicality from what he was accustomed to. That's a lot. And certainly it's a lot for a point guard. And some of you might disagree when I say this, that I don't think ultimately this is a failure, not for Petrovic and not for the University of Illinois. This is simply what the portal era is going to look like. Sometimes it's not about just talent or effort or coaching. Sometimes it really is just about fit, the timing, or maybe a role. And in this case, for this season, all of those simply just did not align. So where does Petro move moving forward? Again, to me, the talent is there. The talent is still real. That European resume, I think it still matters. And the playmaking ability, I think, is still going to translate here. I think he's going to be an attractive portal piece for somebody, maybe a program that wants a true point guard, someone who can run the offense, who definitely plays at a different style than Tyler Underwood and Brad Underwood do in Champaign. I do think that no matter where he lands, it's probably going to be a better fit. It may not be here. It may not be domestically. He may have decided that, the U.S. game is not for me, and he may go back to Europe and go be one of the best players in the league that he was in. That's ultimately for him to decide. And, whatever he does, obviously, good luck to him. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in Champaign. But from Illinois' perspective, I think this just continues to open things up. It gives them more flexibility, in particular to reshape this backcourt. We can now find a better fit, plug in a piece that can fit more so what they need. And, ultimately, again, I don't think this is a failure. The Illini took a swing on a talented player with a strong resume. And quite honestly, it just simply did not work. And that's okay because I still want Illinois taking those swings. So when you look at the move, I don't want anyone to overreact, and I don't want anyone to frame it as, I don't know, what went wrong. Instead, the way I look at it is, what did we learn from this whole experience? Because quite honestly, this is just what building a roster looks like now. It's fluid. It's constantly evolving. And sometimes the best move is just to simply move on. And as for Mihailo Petrovic, again, I hope he finds the right spot, because I truly do believe the talent is there. I think the vision is there. The game is there. Sure, it wasn't a perfect fit in Champaign, but you know what? That's okay. Let me know your guys' thoughts. In a lot of ways, at least we have the first domino to fall. We're still waiting to hear on guys like Brandon Lee, who, to my knowledge, has not made his decision on what he wants to do. And there's other guys. Obviously, we're still the other Balkan boys, Andrei Stojakovic, we're still waiting to hear on that. But whenever there is going to be news, either myself or JR or both of us will bring you our rapid reactions right here on Talk Illini. So make sure you've hit the like button on this particular video, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a thing. And make sure you give the boys at Orange and Blue News a shot. They do great work over there. If you're looking for premium Illini content, you're not going to find it any better than what you find at On3. All right, until next time, ILL. Love you guys.